Oh, let's keep it.
Recording is on. It is 6:03. May 1st, I call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. 4 out of the 5 board members are here. Alfredo sent around the minutes from last week. Looked good. I move to approve them.
Second.
Are you logged in on your Zoom, so I don't have to keep moving it around? Because I'm plugged in tonight. Yes. So then when he talks, I mute, right?
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
I do the report now?
Okay.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, so I'll try to be fast and go to the decision. So pending items, we are still having a lot of pending items with Primex. So the operating accounts and others, March and April reconciliation. So we don't even have March reconciliation for the operating account and none obviously for April. So we are hoping that this will come soon. The stoppals and new owners questionnaires, we've been asking this to Primex several times. If you have any example, please send it. We need to send it to the new company. Stoppals. Example of a stopple, 2 examples of a stopple and 2 examples of new owners questionnaires. And I don't even know if we have a proper questionnaire for new owners. I'm looking at you. It's FBC.
Must be a template because
There must be a template, yeah.
Like fill out.
Okay, so, okay. Then unit 20 check deposit confirmation, which is the $80 that Ron gave from his father. It's still not confirmed, so I'm waiting for that confirmation. We still didn't have the confirmation of a $25 check. The explanation of Signovus, we have an open account on Signovus on March 2024 with the open balance. The 5,000 and 2,500 is still not explained. And then the adjustments for that were asked for 2022. So there are still several points that are here in the report. Now, banks contacted and second special assessment loan status, waiting on 2 things. One is the RFP proposals and NV5 costs associated with drywalls reparations to send to Valley Bank to full loan amount assessment and analysis. So from what I saw on NV5, and I don't know if we're going to talk about this later, I saw measures of drywalls and still, for example, unit 25 is pending. So we're going to need to translate that into a cost because that is the cost we're going to communicate to Valley and say, look, throw to do roofs, 2 free termination and all the other free 1 for in Clubhouse. The cost is X. For the drywalls, the cost is Y. X plus Y is what's going to be like the maximum financing that we are looking for. Obviously, they will put a cap on that. So I don't know if NV5 will translate those measures into a cost, but that will be very important because that will be the number we need to provide to Valley. And I don't know if they are going to do it or not. But
Yeah, they will.
They will. But they're going to have it.
So for unit 25, they actually are having a trouble because they couldn't, figure it out based on the pictures, how much of the drive was completely damaged because they took most of it. So they are trying to come up with a media and see whether they can, approximate what the damage they are estimating. I think that it should not be more than 25% of the whole total unit because 25 is already a big point.
It's not like once.
Was
No,
it wasn't.
I don't know when I was there, so they were fortunately, and that probably should not be, 25% of all, driver, for the human.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second point, by the way, yes, second point, because the first one is the 0. auditing process. So 611 documents have been generated, organized, and uploaded into a structured collaborative space to be shared with the auditors. We are talking about all the balance sheets, all the income statements by month, bank statements, bank reconciliations, account receivables by month, 611. They are all organized and structured. So it's not like, okay, we just dumped 611 documents for them. It's already a lot of strange things that I'm gonna mention to the auditor. I don't want to mention it right now. But yes, there's a ton to do. Majority came obviously from Billion. Some of them came from the bank statements that were sent by Tiffany. The other thing is that we need to fulfill a long list of requirements on the Word document. So, yes,
I can put it in the shared folder, of documenting solid questions, I filled in a couple of them. Do you want us to just go in and fill in what we know, or do you?
that would be the ideal. There are two documents to fulfill collaborative. One is that Word and the other one is the Excel, which many of the things, probably me and you are the ones that know less about what they are asking this. There's like 200 and something lines of Excel for the bookkeeping company. The other one is a Word document that was a PDF that I converted into a Word. And I would highly recommend this, whatever you know, because it's too much for only one person, just start to fill it out. And I would, by the way, that's one of the recommendations I have for today. I would immediately open this to Luís Lavandeira because it's already fully populated. One thing would be to open a share folder with 0 documents there. Right now, he has the bank statements, he has a reconciliation, or sometimes he doesn't have the reconciliation, the bank account just disappears. So all of that is there for him to start to make the proper auditing, I would say. I think then we need to set meetings with them to also guide him with what we already know and have. But those two documents, yes, I would appreciate a lot, especially Alan, Alfredo, because some of the things are like questions that I have no idea from previous things, etc. And if we have an idea, we'll write it down. If we don't, we leave it blank and then we see. One is for the bookkeeper, and the other one is for the auditor. The bookkeeper sends us an Excel, the other one sends us a PDF. Both of them are there.
And until the auditor gets that, we cannot start.
No, I think he can. Because there's so many numbers for him to evaluate. Okay, this, for example, if you make a cut in a certain date and you add up all the operating accounts and have all the money and see the fluctuations, you can start to see, okay, is there any peak? Is there any downside, etc. But those questions are much more qualitative about special assessment, about things that went right, wrong, etc. So I think he can. And I think we should open the share folder right now to Luís Lavandeira. But by the way, they already asked for 2,500. I'm going to send an email, which is how do you call it? It's the initial payments for, they have a technical term. It's the what they call engage for operation on income tax. What is the name? Retainer, like a retainer. Yes, retainer. They only mentioned for now the 2022. I hope he understood that it's 2022, but he obviously needs to start by a specific year. But yes.
Would you like to put a deadline for when you would like us to send document?
I would love to put a deadline. Would that mean anything? No, but yes, I would say that if we have like the next 2 weeks to complete the auditor one and 1 week for the bookkeeper, it will be great.
And how about this as well? It's Friday, we're in here. What if we just open it up Friday?
Great idea. Yeah,
Hey, this question, I know that answer.
great idea.
Are we gonna have that time and that frame of mind to do both processes at the same time? This one is gonna be really time consuming and very, effort, because remember that also the members are gonna be invited after 7, 8.
Kevin, only the loyal Michael is here.
Yes.
I know.
It's more referring to.
Yeah.
process, and I think that
No, completely, but I like
seven, actually,
seven, okay.
Down at
But I'll,
6 and 6:30 to count the vote and whatever.
but I like Robert's idea. If it's possible, we might go through the, yes.
3 o'clock or you.
I'll be from free on, so we'll be in, and if we can start to answer some questions, etc., will be great.
Yeah.
And like Friday's like 12.
Yeah, perfect.
Trying, Friday's here from 12, I'll try to figure out when I can come, but definitely 3. But if we have those 3 hours to just sort of go through that document, that could.
Perfect. No, love it. Very well, very well. Then all of these checks that are here, because it's 1 month, so it's full of checks. I don't know if you want me to read all of them. They're gonna be in the report, so all of them are here. I want to highlight and I want to compliment this board for 2 things, and also being part of it. First of all, is that we got a reduction of 6,370 regarding ACG engineering, and I think this should be mentioned on the minutes. We reduced 6,370 compared with the lien that was put by ACG engineering. And on the Fort Dallas Trust, which it's an inqualifiable company, we got a reduction of more than $34,000. So overall, we got a reduction to the neighborhood of $40,000 on the liens that were applied and the negotiation that was. So I think it's a great victory. It's almost $1,000 by unit. So it's really good. It's also here in the description. All the ACH and FT
There's no lien anymore.
and there's no lien anymore. So yes.
That's the key.
Yes. So it's satisfaction of lien received on the 29th of April for the $4 and received for the 30th to April to ACG.
But we need to check with the lawyer, because these have to be taken out from the council, because that's.
Okay.
Or in that process. And I think that there's a page included into that, in order to take.
Okay, so we need to check.
Yeah, I think that that's story will be taking care of it, that, people.
Then the other thing that was decided, we have removed all the ACH, EFT built-in payments to avoid any type of payment to be lost in the limbo in between the disconnection of billion. This was done on the 26th of 4th. We have received the latest ACH. And just to explain, we have a lot of ACH entries in Valley Bank, and we only by the Valley Bank, we have no idea where the money is coming from because it's an addition of a lot of things. And so with those files of the ACH, we can see, okay, so this money is coming from Robert, Alan, and whoever, so at the end of the day, that ACH file that Tiffany sent us is the one that allows us to translate what is the money that enters in Valley. And if we need to do any type of adjustment and understand, okay, these numbers are correct or not, they are absolutely critical because we just see entries on ACH in Valley. If we don't have the description, then at the end of the day, we don't know where the money is coming from. So we got all the descriptions until the last day.
By the way, are you interested in 4 boxes of, Primex?
Excuse me?
In 4 boxes of Primex full of stuff?
I'm not interested right now for full boxes of I don't. We have there. But I would keep those separated because, but I would keep that separated.
You want me to give it to you? So
I don't have space right now. Sorry, the house, because we are doing some works, etc. Or we can put it there.
Because if we can qualify these documents as sensitive, the boxes are, living right now.
Okay.
So we are actually have limited access. I know that Alan, you don't have access. You don't
I
have
don't have access.
So I have access. I don't know Brian, but I think Brian has key.
So let me ask, who has access to this room? The only person that have access to this room is the board, correct?
No, and the main speed. Carlos and Heather have key.
Okay. Would we feel comfortable leaving the boxes here?
Well, no.
Yeah. No. But the alternative is putting in the maintenance room is even worse. Where do you want to put it?
I don't want to be responsible for that and.
Get it. Do we have the possibility, because I see 2 restrooms, I never understood, there are 2 restrooms?
And there are studio, one for the pool and the other one is.
Okay.
the gym.
Could we close one of the restrooms just for the, no, one is only open for the one side? Okay, let me just finish this and then probably, okay. Then to discuss in this side on May, status of Comcast contract. Okay, so I'll pass to the other one. Okay, Okay, propose to open share of the collaborative space with the auditor. No, no worries, no worries, no worries.
It's good to see citizens.
100%. No. So we propose to open and share the collaborative space with the auditor and set up a meeting to explain what is there. Do we agree with this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna open it through this data and set up a meeting. Get in contact with the two main accounts in arrears before legal action. So one of the units already got in touch with Sherry. Amazingly, she sent me an email and I sent okay. So what I'm proposing is to call that unit and call the second unit that are amounting for some amount to have an initial conversation, empathetic, et cetera, just to understand. I believe the unit next to our homes wants to make the payment. So we need to just know what is the number.
What, Sherry?
Yes, they're called Sherry. I think it was called because I didn't receive any email. And so the other one, I would call just to try to understand. There's always the possibility of people being surprised and no, I've been doing all the payments. What is this? I don't know, because Primex is a very confusing company, but just to understand, obviously I hope we already sent all the letters we said that we all sent. So I'll do a motion to enter in contact as treasurer with these two homeowners and have a friendly conversation about the status and understand what can be done before any type of legal action, because this is already gone from January until now, and we already sent 3 letters, or I hope Primex already sent 3 letters. One of them already entering contact with Primex is now would be that call. So I do that motion to make that call.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, for the record, Unit 25 tenant deposit reimbursement request. So just by the facts, on April 2nd, Primex recommended Leeward Point Association Board to refund Unit 25 homeowner for free checks in the following amounts: 550, 1,850, 1,600. After careful revision and investigation, LP Association Board identified that 1,850, which was sent by Primex to Unit 25 homeowners and deposited by the Unit 25 homeowner in LP escrow account, was in fact a check from Unit 22 tenant, and that was obviously should not be refunded. As Unit 25 homeowner insisted there was a third check to be reimbursed, LP Association BOD asked Unit 25 homeowner to send this third check for validation. April 19, Primex recommended LP Association Board to refund Unit 25 homeowners for free checks in the following amounts: 550, 1,965, and 1,600. After careful revision and investigation, LP Association Board identified that the 1,965 paid by the Unit 25 homeowner at 25 of January of 2021 was related to free maintenance fees and not any tenant deposit, as Unit 25 paid its maintenance fees quarterly during the year of 2021, as this check relates to. So 6, recommending the reimbursing of Unit 25 homeowner 2 checks in the total amount of 2,150. This is the first part. One is the 550, 1,600. And recommending, and this is also for the secretary, Mr. Alfredo, registering in this report and meeting minutes a note expressing total repudiation of the above mentioned inadmissible practices that implied additional hours of work for several board members and that could have caused undue financial losses for all remaining unit owners. I think at least we need to write down this in the minutes. And so my recommendation is to write this in the minutes and also not only in the treasury report, and also to pay $2,150 from the escrow account.
Yeah.
So do anybody seconds?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
One quick question. The third check.
1,965.
The
Yes.
third check, is that then misclassified? Does it need to be reclassified to a different?
No.
Line item?
No, because this is already 2021. So the 1,965 were paid in January, we paid in April, we paid in July, and it was also paid in October by Unit 25 to pay 3 months of maintenance fees. And by the way, those months are clearly identified as maintenance fees. They are not the deposit from the tenant and should not be refunded. They are maintenance fees. The only thing is that the amount was a strange amount, but then we went to, you guys by now have all the payments and everything that all the units have done. So it's clear like water. And that check has nothing to do with the tenant deposit. It's just free maintenance, but which have been accounted as maintenance fees. So there's no need for any type of reaccounting there.
Okay.
It's okay. And then
And by the way, did the check of 1,950
65.
there was wrongly deposited, you know?
No, it was in the operating account.
No, I'm saying the deposit that Primex sent there, that wasn't even belonging to our unit.
That was the previous one, correct?
Yeah, so that check is allocated to the correct unit, so in the future, we don't have problem with that unit.
100%. So this is in the escrow account. This is one of the things we're gonna follow with the bookkeeper. And by the way, the other thing we're gonna follow is that the escrow account, and this, by the way, is a good news, is $10,000 that we cannot until now identify where they are coming from. Why I'm calling good news, because this is, as an escrow account, should be from the tenants, but there's no tenants associated with this. This was a sign-off account that migrated to Valley Bank, and there's no description of who is willing in the future to reclaim that money. That means that at the end of the day, that money should be put in our operating account, which gives a small margin, but it gives more money for the operating account. Because right now, the only tenant that 100% for sure has money there is the tenant of unit 22 that has paid 1,850. So whenever the contract ends and we don't have any type of damage caused, and obviously I believe we're not going to have, then we repay 1,850. And then we have like 1,100 and something that we cannot identify. And I already asked several times for Primex, and the only thing they send is the Valley Bank reconciliation, and that starts with the 10,000 money that comes from sign-offs. And okay, and I asked Primex and Tiffany, okay, so what is this money? But obviously not even Tiffany knows, probably she was not even working in Primex by that time. So, yeah. So, okay, perfect. Now the Unit 25 Absolute Pro reimbursement request. This was the second request. And so following our attorney recommendation, we should communicate that the owners are responsible for seeking their damages from AP. So there's no space from what we heard from, it's written by Alexis. I recorded also. Unit 25 was the only one that requested.
But also today I got a message also from Connect asking the same question and requesting for.
Okay, so probably, yeah. So this will be recorded for Unit 25. If there is a claim that comes with Unit 23 or something, or 24, I don't know, then we should say exactly the same thing. Alexis was very clear on the answer, and this would be the answer. Okay, so that will be also a motion to say that there's no space according to our attorney recommendation to do any type of reimbursement for that.
Because in my understanding, only the year, Unit 29 and Angela, Unit 25 were the ones presenting the proof they were paying directly to the contractor.
Wow, I think, wow, I didn't see the proof, but I want to say such.
Tomato substitute.
That you pay, what is the translation?
We don't have the proof yet. Okay, but her understanding on it is that she didn't want to actually do anything because she was clear to complete to the original site, because she had a history that the board paid $25,000 for her enclosure. So they were for something completely illegal.
Yeah.
You'll find more things like this in very clearly in our bank accounts, not only that unit.
I think it was for.
It is what it. Okay, now,
Very slow.
You don't want to pay.
Okay. And so we agree that this will be our official answer for unit 25, no payment for, and
Clean is not against us, it's absolute draw.
yes. Okay. And once again, I will keep the workshops until we have the workshop, but I know it's not now. Status of Comcast contract. So I received the invoice. You know what we are talking here?
They basically have both of them on.
I think they are, I'll show you. So they sent us, and I was very happy when I opened this first time. They sent us -14, so they sent us this one. But then they send us the new one, and the new one is still $300. So do you think, and maybe it's the 180 plus 120 of the installation? I just want to check if the new number will be the,
So this is,
I believe that is the new one.
it says premium balance.
It's just,
Council merged, right?
yeah. So maybe it's the 180 plus 120. I don't understand by reading it.
Doctor discount, you basic. So. There's a hundred list, but there's a TV box, plus remote.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah,
there,
this looks like the 7.1.
yeah, and it's already for the next month. So what I would recommend there is a call for Comcast. Guys, you told us 180 plus 120 or something for installation. Then I don't know if they needed to come here or not. But to guarantee that then we're gonna have that contract
So what happened with the agreement that, see, we have already the system set up in
to
place.
take out the 120. I don't know if they waive it out or not.
They didn't know where. Can so the new box,
Okay,
and he left the old box, by the way, we can take it. And then why I'm saying it's the same exact box.
so we
already
have
made
two
it.
boxes, or
We
you
have
two?
two exact same box there.
Also,
One is not working.
so probably we need to return the other box to close this.
I asked him, he said,
Yeah, that's a.
And we're gonna pay to these guys.
I'm gonna
Unqualified.
call and ask, but I specifically asked him, okay, so.
So-
So the aim was to actually, work with the existing equipment that we have at scene. They actually need to go by them. So then, yes, definitely this is what happened, but they need.
But we need to waive these because they are selling, not the box, they are selling all the access to their antennas. We didn't have access to their antennas, so if they are a minimum honest company, which they would have to waive down these, it's like, it's crazy.
Still, then, we
Yeah.
can get rid of,
If I return it to 12, we can, square to.
Okay, but then you square, but you still are gonna pay the 300, so, no, okay, so you guys, okay.
Do you remember the date when we stopped the previous service?
I can, yeah, we can check that.
Okay, so once you get it, let me know, and then I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, so, perfect. And you don't need these, I'll send you the photograph, but you don't.
Yeah, but I have access to the.
Okay, perfect. Very well, then, it's all, thank you. Okay. Gonna disconnect here.
Enumerate. Is that you again?
I didn't put this one on the minutes, the agenda, but I think it's good. Okay, so where are we? So we have received. Where is it?
So you're gonna have to unmute again, over there.
Yeah. Where are we in the process? Let me just put this up. Okay, so where are we in the process? So since the 1st of May, we are now having a new bookkeeper. This new bookkeeper is Vishnu and Associates, which now has a new name. We have received these does everybody receive this? Which is the coupon box, okay? There are several possibilities to pay. Me personally, I'm not very acquainted with the American banking system, but I believe The one that is completely free is the one of the check lockbox.
The bill pay.
The bill pay on lockbox. There is a 3% charge on the credit cards. There is always the problem that if you do two payments and you need to do two payments in the platform for the special assessment and maintenance fee, it means that you're going to pay two commissions. So I believe anything that goes directly through the bank will always be the cheapest solution. We now have a new guy that is doing the bookkeeping. So we had him and team to do the transition. And now we have, I believe it's Oscar that is going, Oscar. What are we doing right now? I will need to set a meeting. It will be great for you to be also present for doing what? We need to look at the operating account. And there's still a lot of money from the special assessment there because we've been doing the special assessment payments to the operating account. And this money needs to be taken out from the operating account to go to the special assessment. And everything that is a surplus there should be used to pay the loan. Because right now we have the loan charging us interest and this money is just stopped there. The other thing is that I already messaged, what is the name of the company? Enumerate. And they are also going to send something completely similar for the special assessment. These.
Oh,
There will be two different booklets.
And two different account numbers?
Two different account numbers. And what we decided is one is special assessment. And by the way, is by the book, it needs to be the special assessment one. And the other one is for just the operating account. Then we're going to have the money market, which is there. And then whenever we finalize the auditing, we may close two of them, which are there with $514. They still have an historic to be analyzed in the auditing. And then we have the escrow. I think we can leave probably between 4 to 5 accounts, which will be operating, special assessment 1, special assessment 2, money market, and escrow. That would be like the ideal. And then not mixing anything, which is special assessment 1 goes there, special assessment 2 goes to the second place, and everything that is operating in the first one.
So just to be clear, if we talk with donors, if they say, well, can't I just send one payment for both? So is no.
One payment for each.
Makes
Yes,
payment special assessment.
clear.
When the next special assessment comes, is it 3 payments?
It should be 3 payments because, and just also to update where we are in terms of Valley Bank, like you said, the other banks are saying, okay, if you're going to work with us, you're going to solely work with us, meaning we're going to have to consolidate all the credit. And obviously, and Robert was there, we said, guys, we have a 3.5 interest rate. So it's going to be very hard to be a positive ROI there. And they said, okay, nice, probably in the future, etc. So probably, or Valley Bank comes with a very high interest rate and suddenly it makes sense to consolidate or not. If they are coming with 2 special assessments, then there will be 2 payments. One for special assessment 1 with its own maturity, with everything regarding that, and then a special assessment 2.
Yes, regarding the transaction fees that today we send it, I was still waiting for the answer.
Yep.
For the $16 was not that wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah, because $16 for an APH it's very expensive. So I mean, Thomas was charging $2.
Yeah.
So, and I think according to the agreement, it's also $2 or $2.50. So
It's in the letter.
in the letter,
Yeah.
was 1 minute. So that because people were asking me,
Yep.
and it said $16, it is.
And what I would say right now, for example, for the first time, I haven't paid yet. So tomorrow, for example, I'm going to deposit the check until I have the clarity on the most and less expensive process. And nobody's going to be paying arrears or delinquency this month. So take the time. And we are also trying to find our way. So whoever does it first, have you done already your payments?
I just registered the account, but you know.
Me too, yeah.
From the user, standpoint view, so. Will 3 payments, especially for people, you know, new generation, are going to be more complicated because they have a spare unit 19 asking the same question. So she have an automatic payment and she doesn't need to worry about. So how can we gonna approach to this situation because I mean, we
The
need to understand.
The ideal, from what I'm understanding, and this goes against logic. I was at the phone with Wells Fargo today and saying, why are you going to write on a check, put it in the mail, dropping in a box, a physical check? But they say, okay, this is the only free option I have. And I know Wells Fargo is not a very good bank,
Yeah.
but they told me it's the only free option you have. So I'm going to do that, but I need to set it like 10 days before or 6 days. The ideal would be to set it by the 20th, so the check is immediate and it's everything in the account for the right time. And I will use that solution because it's 0 for each one of the checks, and we are like obliged from, by the way, we are learning. So we are learning with what people are telling. Both Primex is this, and this new company tells the same, which is each one of these accounts needs to be fulfilled differently. So a check for the maintenance, a check for the special assessment. The alternative is to say, look, we're going to consolidate the two special assessments, but then the interest rate that we're going to get right now, be prepared for 8 or 8.5. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Which means, by the way, I'm going to pay it full because I'm not going to be paying 89.5. And I believe there will be a lot of people saying, okay, it's better to pay it full.
It can, so they
Yeah.
need, come up. with
It's,
the proper.
and I think it's the sorry, what is the name? The Dropbox. Lockbox. It's a lockbox.
Question on that. If our owners are paying, we have 1.5 and special assessment that comes 8.5. Are we able to
Arbitration.
pay down the 8.5, the second special assessment quicker than the first one?
We were told by Primex no, but I would take this conversation to the attorneys. Right now, whenever we have two special assessments, because it's no longer saving money for a rainy day tomorrow, it's like paying which one. I would talk with Avi just to understand, because until now, from anything we heard from Valley Bank, we are paying on the 6,900 rounded money to pay the special assessment. That was what we agreed. Whatever we are collecting and getting from the owners, we might decide or not to pay more, but that is our decision. So if we decide, but I would just check with Avi. What I would always guarantee or is it's going to be complicated for the accounting, by the way, but it's an option.
And regarding the senior residents that we have here,
Mhm.
they have more difficulty with that. So we need to be clear with them and with the new accounting firm that, so they have a clear phone number to call. And somebody maybe from the accounting firm can just set them up on ACH if that's what they want. So they don't have to worry about it anymore. Automatically it's being deducted
Yeah.
from their account. Because obviously one of us can probably help them on the portal, but some of them I think don't even have an email address. So if they don't have an email address, they're gonna even register to the portal.
Yeah.
So I think that the best would be for them to give them a phone number, then to call in the accounting firm to schedule them on ACH.
The phone number they gave, it's working because I haven't tried. Okay. It's working? Okay, so I think that number should be like the primary number in, yeah. Yeah,
I think similar to what you said earlier in the chat. There's Vanessa outside here.
Oh,
Similar to what Joel said earlier today, and we're all going through the same thing and learning what works best for us individually, but there are going to be questions. There's going to be some people questioning why this, why that. And I think at the end of the day, as long as we hold a strong line that, yeah, it might be different because there's, do we need to do something that you're different than what you were used to, but if we just get through this hurdle, I think the learning phase will be quicker than normal.
yeah, as long as we can digest that
Yeah.
information and put it in a way that can be
Yep.
educative to, helping people that doesn't have the access, so that will be.
And I think the best is for us to go through the process. Unfortunately, for me, when I realized that the only alternative I had is for a physical check, which is the only free option for Wells Fargo, I couldn't even believe it. So I will write down all the steps I'm taking and say, look, this is what I did for that. If somebody does the ACH, I would recommend the same, because that would be like,
There's one more option, and we need to ask Enumerate if they accept it. I don't know if they do. It's Zelle. Zelle is more and more accepted, and all the banks, everything is free.
yeah, but Zelle, we have, if Leeward, okay. Yeah,
It's them.
yeah.
So we need to ask them if there's this.
Okay.
The only thing they need to supply is an
Yeah.
email address or phone number.
Which, by the way, whenever I go for the transfer to another bank account,
It gives
and
you
they
the option.
and gave me the option of Zelle, they said, if you are not the owner of the other bank account, you cannot do it, but do it by Zelle. And I said, okay, but this is not,
Kind of like a cash transaction, so like really, like.
it is a cash transaction.
Zelle is more and more accepted, so
Now, the thing is
What is
that,
the risk that you are taking by doing this transaction? Because I know that once you do the transaction, there's nothing that back you up, like, checks or credit cards.
you're right.
I think that,
If-
for protection, I don't know, incorrect.
But Alfred, if it's on the risk of the sender, imagine if I send to the wrong account, I will be losing the money, but it's on my risk. And I know it sounds strange, but at the end of the day, it's the risk of the sender. They always said, are you sure you're sending to the right place?
Just want to make sure that it's not gonna be a environment.
I see.
it's a question to ask.
Just start making the movie.
And I just, signed up and registered as well.
Yeah. We have it.
I haven't hating anything I've done, I just logged in, and so.
Me too.
Well, that works very well.
Yeah, it's better than the private stuff.
I think so. And once again, I think it's more critical, the content than the form, and I really hope so.
Okay, what's the next?
Okay, the next step is still in here. I don't know if you had it to the agenda, the point of the property manager.
In here, which is, it's on the,
Okay,
terms of member, the property manager interim. All the database that we need to storage, and that it's, where Alan is going to play.
Okay.
Because we need to understand how we're gonna storage all the information in the meantime. So Google Drive, give us the options that you put a folder and you structure a
Really?
folder. Then everything that is have to be in contracts, all the notifications, all the meeting minutes, all the agendas, everything, like classified. So people can go like in Primex and then look for the information. That's
Hold on, but you mean, having place to access for all the residents or for us?
well, for us and also for the residents, we need to actually provide a solution for the, for where they're going to be communicating with us, we put.
Okay, so that's a different question, it's a real question, it's a different word. So the drive option is for us. I don't think we can allow access to everybody to go into the
I
drive.
know, but I mean, we need to establish those communication systems, so that we don't have to get a management, like,
Yeah,
we need to actually create those.
So I think that what first, we need to clarify to the community that Enumerate is an accounting firm and they are not the people to complain about a leak or anything else.
but can I give like 3 steps back? Because I believe the hybrid model is to hire somebody that will do hours to us
Yeah.
as a property manager.
In the meantime, what.
Yes, but it's important to put in the meantime, meaning that we are not going to do a very sophisticated solution. It's much more a prototype until we have a solution that brings the complement of the property manager. So, and that's why I wanted to put this in the agenda, because I believe and I know we are completely exhausted for the last 4 months, but they're still missing this last part, which is contact that lady.
So if I reach out to Gina, I think her name was.
Yeah.
She's gonna be ready, like, each, pro running.
But we need to.
I mean, I talked to her once on the phone.
I mean, it would be beneficial for us to organize our proper information from our house first before we deliver that.
So there are many options for that.
Yeah.
There are many options, but we can hire our own, and I did it before, by the way, for, create a whole website for the community. Where it allows you to communicate with people, to upload, forms, so people can access them. So all those systems exist. They have a very cheap monthly fee, and we can have one that we own, that we pay for it. And then whoever is gonna help us manage will also have access to that.
Yes, but my point is, if we contact 3 of these people that are charging us by hour, that will support us, install posts, et cetera, they might work
Have already.
or have already assisted. So that lady is a recommendation. You once brought a guy that also, but he didn't have a system, and we probably is an option. So if we go for this option, which is hourly based, contractor based, there is much more consultant support. They might already have a system, and they might already say, look, this is the system I'm working with, works very well. I blast.
The question right there is, do we really want to keep depending on this hybrid system? So this consultant, because one, the company stop, so we again have to, migrate all the information, and it's been a headache, so.
I would put these as one of the questions, which is, we don't want anymore something like primates that took me hours of work to download 611 documents because they never send us one report. It was always in the platform, like, go get it, but we didn't have any report, zero report. And by the way, the reports, like I said several times to the bookkeeper, change. But this would be a question for whenever we are going to the market, they say, look, we want to be the owners of the information, even if you have the front line, but we have the database that is going to be processed by you. But whenever you go away or we send you away, we have all the
Topic that we-
Yes,
That's the case.
Yeah.
It's what a further discussion, then we need to get. Evaluate the different systems. There are so many systems in the market for that. Evaluate a system, it has a monthly fee. We hire that system, and then whoever is our property manager will have to upload whatever it is to that system, and if they leave, we are still keeping the system.
yeah. My only recommendation is to talk with next week, next 2 weeks with these people that can help us. And by the way, because it's hourly based, it's much easier because it's not going to be a long-term contract, etc. And we might ask them, look, we are thinking about bringing our system because we have this concern. And the person might say, no, bring this system. The moment I'm gone, you are the owners of the system. I'm not the owners of the system. The person might say something like that. I'm just saying that, I don't know anybody, so, but at the end of the day, if we find that lady, the person, the guy that we once talked, and another one or two another ones, to start having some support on
I
that.
don't think that's the case, because normally most people have a master account.
Mhm.
And then under that account, they have community A, community B, community C. Once you drop with their own master account. So once
Okay,
that community is dropped, they get it's dropped.
that is the iPod.
What we can do, and I think that that's not only temporary, but also keep it forever. And I think in 2024, it's time, we should have a Telegram channel or a WhatsApp channel. Where we, just to send messages, not for people to plan, just to send important information. Like today, the water is gonna be shut down, all that. The blast, basically, the from us to the community.
I agree completely. And in several networks that WhatsApp is only out, there's no in, there's no ingest, and I cannot write anything, but I received workshops, etc. Yeah, we can create it. Yeah, you can.
I think we should create a channel.
Mhm.
We have the information, from all the residents that have the WhatsApp. Or a good way, or maybe it should, I'm trying to find an easy way that we can collect that information. Maybe what we can do is, I can create like a Google form,
Perfect.
and then we can send an email to everybody. We have the list of everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
have
and
this.
then we send an email asking everybody to update their contact information and to make sure that they put their whatever WhatsApp number it is.
Yeah.
Or email address, and so we can create that thing system.
The question, are we going to be surveilled? It's because WhatsApp is survival in the United States. Each one of these platforms have now a supervision in different territories. For example, we use a lot Telegram because it says it's less
Scripted,
it's more
for our.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I think WhatsApp everybody.
yeah, WhatsApp, yes, I think so.
Okay, so
there's a couple different things here. One, we need to find hourly property managers. And we need to define our scope.
Yep.
I know the Gene role, I don't spoke with him. From care. But I spoke with Gina and she's like, I can do as basic as you want or as advanced as you want.
And she can there.
And she does a different property, I think, over in Ontario, so so that's one, and it's $40 an hour, she said that.
That's nice.
And do we? And I'm not pushing her, but I don't know how we find 3 others who are just independent hourly based property managers.
LinkedIn, but that's an option. We can do an interview with her, no?
Yeah. Before we have others,
I mean, I'm trying to think who else we can ask, about that. I have the person that's property manager for private investors. She will not be good fit for us, but then she knows
Okay.
other people.
And Alfred, you had one that you brought to,
Yeah.
yes.
was a guy, older gentleman, he was like, I'm looking for like a Lincoln manager. Like he lives in the community and manages.
But he was like, he didn't have a platform, he didn't have a company, he was much more the supportive person than the property manager company.
We see that also.
Maybe, if you can sell us hourly.
I think it's just on an hourly basis now.
Yeah.
Let me just contact
You're-
back.
okay. Very well. And
Then
then,
we have 2,
yeah,
and so.
and for the WhatsApp, we need to have like rules because the communication needs to be like official communications, correct?
It's official.
It's official.
Once we decide what we do send,
Okay,
we send it.
We send.
And a reply.
perfect. Okay,
So it's for announcements. That's the only thing.
okay. Which is great for education, for example. Okay, people are having problems with setting the ACH. This is the step of ACH.
Yeah.
If you have any question, just call João because you already did it or something like. Okay. We,
I mean, the idea is that we agree on what to be sent.
Yeah.
And then whoever is in charge of sending it, sends it.
so it's not like the group that we have right now that everybody posts and sends messages, etc. This is just a push.
Reply.
You know, there.
Yeah.
Not a social calendar, what are we doing this weekend?
So, yeah, so if I create that.
Do you want to turn your mic on? So I'll show.
So if I create that Google, how do you call it?
Form?
Form. What are the fields that we need? Because if we're already gonna send that, let's make sure that we updating everybody's information. We make sure that we have, if,
Name, mailing address, unit number,
yeah.
mobile number.
No, because for the WhatsApp, we just need the number, the number or the email. But if we're already sending that, that's a good opportunity already to let them update all their contact information. If maybe it's an owner that doesn't live here, lives in a different place or moved to and we don't know their new address.
So for example, when you enter in this new platform, they ask for the phone number, they have the email, phone number, email, the name is already there. The address also. What they ask several times is that if anybody has a second address, so we might ask them, do you want the second address to be contacted besides the work point? Email was always asking, does people have a second address? But a name, email, phone number, second address, the first one.
And cell phone.
Yes.
And WhatsApp. Okay. All right.
Yeah. 50-year recertification update.
The initial report was submitted to the city of North Miami Beach last Friday, April 26th, and the fee of $1,300 were accepted. No late fee is charged at this point. And the engineer comments for repairs are as follow. Structural, building 1. We have minor settlements at the perimeters of the building. Needs to be revised, let's see. Stucco thermal cracks underneath and underside and edge of the balconies and wall on unit 2, 3, and 4. We need to be determined. They actually show the pictures, but I need to see exactly where are the cracks happening and to confirm if this unit 2, 3, and 4, and where are the location, because they're highlighting 2 pictures on the underneath of the slab, similar like the Gregory in unit 41. And there's 1 thermal crack on one of the walls, so that needs to be repaired.
One above the other.
Well, 2, 3, and 4, because the pictures are related to that area, so that's why I say need to be confirmed. So building 2, repair shuttle metal clad and slab edge at unit 19. If you see on the picture, a stair have a double shutter, like a whole facade, covering shutters. And the middle portion, the cladding portion is falling apart. The metal that actually covers the edge of the balcony. So that is falling apart, needs to be retouched, needs to be repaired. And that I believe is as per the owners, yes, owner responsibility.
That was my question. In the reports, they mentioned what is association and what is owners, or we still have?
No, they actually, like highlight all the repairs that needs to be done and the things that needs to be, in compliance. So
It still needs to be validated.
needs to be validated, yeah, because the process usually is, we have the 3 months to get the report from the engineers and do all the amendments before we actually submit the report to the city, because the city is gonna grant us the certification upon the engineer's report. So they're not gonna come and they're gonna say anything, because the engineers are the one basically doing the job for them. So, so that's why it is very important to understand that this is only the initial report submittal for the city, but all these non-conforming work needs to be addressed and re-signed and recertified by the engineers in order for us to submit that into the city for them to give us the certification of approval.
So it's like a loop.
It's like a loop, and I'm telling you by experience, because the 40 years inspection took about like 2.5 years to do it, because there were some major things that needs to be done.
So we are not waiting for MEC right now, we just have to move ahead with everything.
Yes, exactly. So let me keep going on the
By
process.
the way, on that, unit 19 and other units that might also have certain issues that are the obligation of the unit owner. If you can ask them to like have a separate report or separate thing, so we can present to the unit owner to say, look,
It's already there. It's
Okay.
already in a report with a picture. Yes. So that's exactly what I bring these hard copies for you guys to see. So I basically went through all the reports and I dissect all the importance of what we need to, like just work on. So building number 3, so we have some repairs on at the wall in unit 19, which is, you already know exactly where it happened, DDR. So we have like a stepping crack. Yeah, 29.
Oh, yes.
When you walk on the sidewalk, on the docks, you see that, or what the contractor said, there's a stepping crack. We need to fill this up.
He showed me that and he said that only happened after the roofing.
Yes, but this is a moving a crack and needs to be repaired. So they also comment on the permit of the shed addition, which is never having a permitting. So that the shed that is next to attached to DDR, that attached, it's been there for many years. So well, that's what I'm gonna have a call on Monday, because on Monday, one of the engineers is coming back to the office because I'm gonna tell you exactly what is gonna happen after I read that. So building 3, unit 29 have this, the stepping crab. And also the addition that needs to show the permit. Unit 28, the sidewall needs to be repaired. I think that Laura built up some walls on the deck. And one of the side that looks over, I believe it's Brian's side, is not well finished, so it's all cracked out. So he took a picture and say, you need to actually repair that. Well, that's exactly the issue, because this is on the limited common area where we need to establish what is gonna be our responsibility and what is gonna be owner's responsibility. So this is something that we need to discuss afterwards. Unit 25, the impact windows, even though they have shutters, are recommended, because on that enclosure, he noticed that these windows are not going to stand even though with a shutter. So he actually made the recommendation, and that's what I'm going to re-ensure, that if this is paramount for the recertification in order for us to get the seal from the city. Unit 24, a stock of cracks at the bottom edge of the balcony needs to be replaced and need to be repaired. And unit 21, that one of the steps is cracked. So he noticed that, so we need to fix that. Building number 4, general comments. Permit enclosures for all the covered patios and balconies enclosures. This is a general comment in general. So for the permit, I told the team and I say, well, the cracks, like these repairs can be, done in 2 weeks, but the permitting, I think, is gonna take a while. And permitting of all the illegal enclosures. Permitting on the 5, including mine, even including yours. They say, he doesn't have any problem because he also went to a very difficult, like. No, but I mean, general comments,
But I mean, mine was I have all the permits.
But he actually saw, and when he saw this, a typical construction, I mentioned, he already have the permit, but we need to provide that in order to satisfy the query of the engineer. So I'm gonna talk to them on Monday, and I'm gonna, talk with the structural engineer to ask them if it's required, the permitting areas on the enclosures and the other, and the cover patio, see if this is critical for the certification, because
Referring to another covers parking, probably referring, I don't know, to people that put covers, static covers. over the
Yes,
patio.
yes.
There are at least 2 units that have static covers over the patio.
I believe it's 35 and 30, exactly. So that needs to be, we need to actually ask for the permits next to see if the structural engineer is confirmed that we need to provide that to the city. If it's not, we can go full steam with repair the cracks, and that probably will be, taking care in less than 2 weeks.
Those structures are already there. We ask people to remove. What is there?
Well, I think for the ongoing projects, which is, like the building 2 and building 3, where we have the most balconies enclosure, it's gonna be part of the process of the construction. So cover of the balcony, cover of the patios. Well, we need to, understand, if this is paramount for the city or if it's not. So then we, and what is the consequences if we don't present the permits of all these cover patios?
What does it mean when it says no shutters or non-impact windows? It says no.
For
shutters-
unit,
Many units it says that.
So they probably have impact windows, but they still.
yeah, they have,
shutters
exactly.
On the outside.
I remove shutters, I don't have shutters. And they wrote on my unit, no shutters or non-impact.
Yeah, for the engineer, for instance, and the,
It's like you still have impact.
No,
well, in the case of Angela, which is unit 25, he's actually saying, even though she have shutters that protects from the hurricane, those windows are no high impact. So they won't stand the wind load, and that's his recommendation. So I'm going to confirm on Monday with the engineer if this is applicable for the city to give us the certification. If it's not, it will fall as a recommendation of the engineer, but the engineer needs to actually get his, back clean, that he actually made the point, highlight the comment, and that needs to be addressed. So whether if it's going to be, fully addressed, or we just say, okay, well, the owner knows, we knows, and the city knows, and everything is gonna be, okay. Basically, liabilities and responsibilities from the engineers and from the association. So, electrical, a clubhouse.
How we do before, we didn't say anything else?
Nothing else, nothing else. Clubhouse, stucco crack over the rear window at the pool. There's a huge line around the elevation that actually needs to be fixed. Electrical partners are all in good condition, only building 2 and 3 that needs to be reinstalled for the obvious reason that it's still in, under construction. So everything passed. The lighting passed except for building 2 and 3, and the thermographic, it's all good. And the main panel and secondary panels are all okay.
Quick question for the lights, can we have different lighting than off-the-truss lighting?
Well, this is something that I discussed with him. He said, the lighting, it's exactly as the city rules, city code is actually asking, and he actually showed me the evaluation, yes, and he actually, it's on the dot. But he said, the problem here is that the design solution is not the right one. So you have the right, they call lumen, the candle foot, and as per regulation, you have it. But there's many ways that you can design the lighting in order not to be so harsh. Yes, because the approach here was, okay, let's throw, because the main point here is that we have a parking lot, and the regulations for the city, it's referred to parking. Even though that we are a residential, that's considered as a parking area. So parking has to have a different level of lighting, and therefore we need to provide that level of lighting regarding that you have a house attached. So point here is that, and the analysis is that association wanted to, reduce costs, and then they say, okay, well, let's put some LED lighting that throw the lights all the way to the main point, the areas of circulation, and we are done with them. So we actually cover a general illumination and illumination for that. And that's exactly what the reason is. Design, lighting design.
Well, the solution is install a dimmer.
No, because, I see in previous project that they were actually doing a design with a lantern with posts, and the posts, are very, very costly. So I guess that at that time, when they actually look at the estimate, so they figured that for this project, it will be very costly to do posting lighting, but that we can, rethink, in a later stage. So, well, I am returning today to the treasurer the check for the concept of the recertification late fee in the amount of $750, which we voided. Yes. A follow-up project.
That's the additional savings.
Yeah. A follow-up project to address all these repairs should be in place effectively immediately. So after this meeting, we need to start working on repair all the cracks and all the seams. And then for the permitting, on Monday, I will have a meeting with the 2 engineers, and they will tell me exactly what will be the procedure.
We had a conversation with several, and one of the things was not only focus on the roofing, but also putting any money that we're gonna use for the drywall. I was expecting much more than what you got, so I think it's good news.
Oh, yeah, we're good, yeah.
But do we think that, and by the way, we have a ceiling, obviously, that says it doesn't go beyond 600, maybe 100, let's see. should we include also this type of expenses, or are we comfortable with managing these with the deposits? We are right now $300,000.
That's more a question for you.
I think max it out.
So I was just trying to understand from your perspective,
Sure.
what costs as what?
Well, we need to assess the issues. And I think that it's not gonna be so costly, per unit as we did for Gregory. But, in the long, run for the units that we're gonna attend, we're gonna basically spend about, I would probably say $10,000, less than $10,000 for just fixing all the cracks, with the stucco, because we need to actually, go and repair. I estimating that something from that nature will be happening.
So the structural was what they're saying to fix.
It's all thermal cracks.
It's aesthetics.
Aesthetics, yeah, basically. Everything that is up here.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So frankly, they didn't mention anything about corner here.
No, because they already know that this is ongoing, so they didn't, but did they see the stepping crack that it's
Yeah,
it's
but not
by-
enclosure, not mention anything about enclosure.
No, because he knows that this is already gonna be, working out.
Spending much more things on the bottom because the guy was.
No, he actually did. And thank God, well, I kept, two models, one from building 2 and building 3, and he went into Laura's house. So he actually, do the sound on underneath and on the top, and they say this balcony passed. I say, okay, good.
Mhm.
And the other one was,
Glad he went to Laura.
He did mine,
it did yours? Okay.
yes, and I thought he was going to say something because he called me outside and said.
He say something?
He said that some noises were different, and I said, okay, it's like a car, when the noise is different, there's
Yeah.
nothing there.
No, he makes the observation based on the media, on the two, units that he actually, assessed. And he said pretty much, it's in fair, good to fair condition. So,
We'll take it.
yeah, no, definitely. So next week, I probably will give you, like a certain idea of how much are we gonna be, paying for this.
But my perspective would be to try to include that in the value, the loan, any recertification costs or things like that. I don't think it hurts us, but, and if they up it by $30,000, then that just gives us extra room to maneuver.
But if you're gonna pay interest on that, so what's the point if we have money for the operation?
Well, you pay interest only if you use the money, not because they give you that credit.
It's a lot of credit and then we convert.
So if we don't use the whole thing, then we don't pay interest on that.
Whichever way you guys feel like it's better to go.
Just give me more options.
All right, and then, I spoke with Jason, and I think that, well, you already saw the bill for the recertification, and I said, you need to give us a break. When we do the recertification, of course, they need to bring the engineer. I need to call them, like 2 weeks in advance because they are really busy. And, for the re-sign process, they need to actually get a new template, fill up everything and sign and seal every single page, because we actually have an issue with the city because they changed the requirement and they didn't know. So it was a misunderstanding. They thought that they needed to redo this previous submission. And I say, no, this is only for acknowledgement on the city, but the next one needs to be as per the requirement because they submitted with an outdated template. And they only sign and seal the first couple of pages, and they require every single page to be responsible for. So.
Like this.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that's all for the 50-year recertification.
And do you think that, because the invoice, it was like 8,800 or so,
Yeah.
there'll be additional expenses after the
Yeah.
city comes back and says, we have to do?
No, until we actually do the repair, because the city have nothing to do with us.
That's-
Only
yeah,
the
yeah.
engineers that we need to,
The
knock on the door and
repair.
say, okay, guys, we are ready, give us the okay. And once they give us the okay and come here, we need to make sure that the okay, everything is already, like as per they say,
Okay.
because otherwise it doesn't make any sense to do the resolution. But it will probably will take some time. I will estimate it by the structural, we can pin that out in 3 weeks as a maximum. But the electrical probably will take the time that the construction will take, maybe like 2-3 months, because they need to actually have the lighting on place. So for the electrical, it will take 3 months, but for the structural, we can actually do it in less than 1 month.
And I noticed.
And we can submit it differently, so it's no.
I noticed in the photos, by the way, especially of the roofs, there's still garbage, debris on the roof that.
I got plenty of
That
this
we-
documentation, yeah. We need
I
it.
mean, which is, there's garbage on the roof, they never move the garbage.
Which is good for us to have those,
We
that
have
evidence.
that-
In the tree, I got all the pictures, so you can.
So you can storm and. it can fly.
Okay, so we move into
RFP,
RSP, okay, so can continue with that as well?
yeah.
If you have something else to add. For the FRP process, we are on the submittal phase of the bidding process. The day of submission was extended to this coming Friday 3rd. The invited bidders are coming in person to our Clubhouse facility to hand deliver the bid between the hours of noontime and 6 p.m. The bids are going to be received sealed for transparency and fairness to all the bidders. The results are going to be read to the public, and the Q&A session with members will start at 7 p.m. for clarification. After the board members tabulates all the results and examine all responsive and responsible bids, then we are going to set up a day for interviews on the following week. Then the selection process will be happen right after, so we can have a shortlisted based on the experience, quality, and time for the project completion and cost of the work.
So let's talk real quick Friday, so we're all on the same page. That's in 2 days.
Yep.
Can't believe it's already here. The only way the contractors can deliver their bid. Only way the contractors can deliver their bid is hand deliver here. Alfredo's here from 12, at least until 3. I'm here somewhere in the afternoon, definitely by 3. Joao's definitely here in the afternoon, earliest at 3. The deadline to receive the bids is 6 p.m. We have some sort of stamp or something. You have it? Okay.
Okay. I bought it for this dated and with the time.
Okay, excellent. And then come 7 o'clock, community members, homeowners can come in. But what do we do from 6 till 7?
Well, with the process of tabulation.
Is
I think
done at that
I
point?
don't know if you want to bring your portfolio, or we create a template and then put it on a wall that we can actually, start calling all the responsible bids, and then call the names, the amounts, and what it covers, and then we can have a tabulation, and everybody can see, who is who and how much they charge, so everything is disclosed.
But Jay is going to be here?
Who's that?
Jay.
Yeah, definitely.
Gonna be here. Because, these type of bids are very complicated, so, sometimes, we need to compare apples to apples, so that's why we have Jay, yeah.
We're just gonna open the result, and then Jay will, we will say, okay, contractor number A is this is the amount, and so he will put that in front of everyone, so,
Right.
we got all the results, but then after, between Saturday and Tuesday, I think that we must get together to study and analyze all the contracts, all the numbers, and then see the experience, look at the, the good thing is that by actually having that form, 305, the contractor is already pre-qualified, because we already know that this is a notarized testimony that the guy complies with the license, with all the insurance, so we don't need to worry about that part. So we send that then to the lawyer once they actually do the contract. So what we're gonna receive is the estimate, but we need to actually, after that point, start working on the language that we're gonna put in our side, because we're not gonna receive a contract. And that's one of my queries and my concerns, because we're gonna receive it's an estimate. Then after we award the contractor is when we're gonna receive the language of what is the condition. So we need to be prepared when we receive their condition to actually counterpart with our condition, say, this is what we need you to do for us, and then combine, and then that's gonna be the face of dispute.
In your experience, do associations or communities or anything else like that, do they demand that the contractor use the association's contract versus us using their contract?
That is a mutual agreement, because there might be some clause and some, like provision that they might not feel comfortable, so then that is going to be on our legal department and say, okay, careful with this, you need to go with this, and then so forth and so on. But there is a standard contract for construction that manage the responsibility of the contractor, the client, the owner, and the consultant. So that is crystal clear, and they already know which ones they need to respect.
But I
Do
think
we
that,
have a preference?
but they first provide us with their contract. Also, it saves us money on lawyer. I mean, they need to provide the contract, and then based on the contract they provide, we give the.
But I mean, we are, and this is exactly what we have been doing because of that particular approach, because we are abide to their condition, know our condition. So that's why we need to actually look for a contract that actually back up our needs, because they are going to be looking at their side, not our side, and we need to understand if it's okay or not.
Well, if there are certain big no-nos that we already know in advance, then before they even bring us their contract, we can say, hey, these are the 4 or 5 or whatever things that we cannot live without it. So keep it in mind when you send us the contract. So that way we saving time, and also if from the get-go, he says, no, I'm sorry, but this cannot happen. Then we say, so I'm sorry, we need to move on to the next person, to the next company. So basically, we need to understand, because I don't know anything about it, but we need to understand, if you, according to what you're saying, what are the things that are big no-no, and then give it to them in advance.
Well, there is a form in the contract documentation, the construction documentation, which is the form 201, which is the general condition for contractors, owners, client, consultant, and that should be, I believe that Abby and Alexis should be already familiar. I don't know if they are expert in construction, but I have the sample, so I can give it to them, and he actually laid down all the provision for client, for contractor, what we need to do in case of your.
And I think obviously more the expert in the contract
Yeah.
negotiations than Alexis. But we can do one of two things. We can arrange a preemptive call with our lawyer for them to ask either us questions about what is most important to us. What do we have to have in the contract, or we can figure that out ourselves. And we can ask them.
It's an email.
I would say.
It's an email.
To send what are the main points that cannot miss.
Yeah.
Like insurance, who would say that having an insurance?
No, but I mean, that form 305 guarantees, that for us is one of the checkpoints.
Checklist, I believe they should have like a checklist.
Well, and
We did some options,
And-
because I remember in the beginning, you mentioned something that we didn't have in the contract, beside insurance, license, etc. But there was some. Exactly, and I don't know what to say.
And that check
We
was
should
for
then
305.
decide if the price compensates or not, and then we take the decision. Because I think after everything that happened, we have to minimize the risk.
Yeah, definitely.
But guys, but I think that, first of all, we hire a professional that, has experience in that. He's the one that, first of all, needs to analyze all that and bring us. No, I'm talking about Jay now. He's the one that first needs, I'm not talking about the contract. So first, he's analyzing the bids. That's why we hired Jay. He's supposed to come with a report, and we need to analyze from his report. I don't think we're gonna go deep into every single bid and start analyzing. I know that you will, but in general, that's why we have Jay.
This is one thing that I just wanted to bring to all your attention. Do you guys read the contract of ND5 with Jay and the FRP process? Because one thing is a job description and the other thing is what he charged by week. They actually charge 12 hours per week. So I'm very concerned because we're doing, and I'm been monitoring at least on site, how many times he's been coming and all the correspondence that he's been doing with the contractor. I don't know if at the end of the contract, it's not gonna be 12.5, it's gonna be more because on the contract clearly says 12 hours maximum per week. So that is what I'm going to tell you guys, okay? There is a lot of work that I have been done personally that I can refer to Jason's team and say, you know what? We were expecting a RSP process in a way that is educated. It's actually, by the step, and we didn't see that. I didn't see that personally.
So important with what was said and what is written is that he's gonna do everything until we get a decision for 12.5. And this is the minimum of the.
But something have to be said, and he needs to be acknowledged because he's.
That's why I recommend here to analyze the reducer. We are assuming these.
Yeah.
That because 12.5 is very well paid. I agree with you. Very good performance, a lot of.
But we need to know if that covers what, Alan said, because in my understanding, he needs to prepare everything, and he needs to work. Well, but that's exactly the reason that I'm saying, if we are hiring engineers to take pictures and to give us some measurement and know the sub process, I think that what is the point that we're doing here? So, for me, it's a wake up call. For me, it's like something, something it needs to be said, and I don't want to, disturb the process because I know that we are in a delicate situation.
And you raise good points, and one of the things that I think that we were all surprised at initially was the first version of the RFP that he sent through that had some other association on there and other things like that.
It was a copy and paste. That for me was an insult.
So one of the things that I think will be helpful to Jay is after people submit their hard copies, that they email him the proposal. He can do a lot more quicker digitally than having a paper, typing it in, et cetera, et cetera.
They're guaranteed with J that it's paid as by hand and utilities. That is the 12.5.
Yeah.
It's like, it don't come and that's a great point from you because we need to have this conversation right now. It's the J. We are assuming, and there's nothing below these, that you are taking this by the utilities.
Yeah, that's what
For the money that we agreed, but we need to actually, okay.
This is a great point, but I think the conversation. Oh, it's a conversation that's not. I think so.
When is it gonna be happening?
No.
Because that is.
Well, first of all, Friday.
No, because, okay, we are, expecting, like the worst on Friday and then, cut, or we're going to be flexible and wait until we do all the interviews and all that, because he needs to actually work with us on the interview.
He would organize that, the interview time, he would, do all that.
Said, oh,
Yeah, let's let the process.
Yeah.
I would check. I would say.
I just anticipating to surprises, so I don't
Yeah.
want to, oh, well, but this is something else.
Okay, so I think what we're going to have maybe a call.
we look at this report, this is a very good report. I know the terminal was done paid separately. This is a very specific report, and if I do it, it's separate, so this is 8,000 something,
8,000, yeah.
8,000 something. Okay, needs to give us something that's apologize on it, let's see. And until now.
Yeah.
It needs to take that, and that was fun.
Yeah, here it says specifically that I'm gonna come at the end with a minor population based on quality, price.
That's what decision is saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I'll call him, Alfredo, I'll call him tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, just confirming, Jay, remember that you're being here Friday evening.
Exactly.
And we are on track.
6 o'clock. Right, 6?
Yeah.
But this is just 1 second, we cannot vote on anything to say.
No, everybody will actually leave the envelopes, like lay down here, and somebody is going to be monitoring. Yeah. So at least 2
So
people.
that we should be here at 7, not 6.
That's what I was saying. Or leaving for seconds, whenever we start opening things in the floor.
Well, that's gonna be between 6 and 7, so 6:10, 6:30, 6,
So we start opening at 6 or 7.
after 6, because the deadline is 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock.
After 6 o'clock, we are not receiving any more. So from 6 to 7, we need to, open, like organizing, tabulating, let's start working with,
And we open.
and we open it, yes.
So at 6 we open. So-
Well, that's exactly what we agree, no?
Yes.
To open the same day, okay.
It's something that it looked like.
No, the Q&A will be separate with the members that are coming at 7. But in between 6 and 7, Jay must be with us because he is going to actually help us to open, help us to tabulate, or at least to put it everything.
Good question. You have to put it after 7, but you can receive it here.
Yeah, they can, but I mean, I already put it on the notification, 7 for their comfort, because what they're gonna be, like,
But it's important for concern. Whoever wants to do it.
I think that they're gonna.
It's open to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. So I'll call Jay tomorrow, be here 5:45. Fire alarm.
That's
We got that crazy
Yeah.
response from them. That,
We pay the first January, we receive
Yeah.
this invoice from time, we pay it. And it looks like they haven't done anything from 2022. The other thing is that when we send these, then after the raise, well, this is exactly what the other guy will do. And then when you send an email, ask about, okay, they said, okay, yes, we need to work. That was the answer, that we need, yes, we are charging for something, so we should probably send something.
Yeah, we should come and,
We should come.
and yes, you have a contract with that.
Yeah.
Where's the
So,
contract?
first, we need to ask for the contract and probably do once again a repudiation of this practice and look. If we haven't told you anything, we would even come to
I
check.
think that the question here is more for the management, because the management are the one responsible to set up these.
They are gone.
Well, yes, but I mean,
They're gone.
Tiffany, should actually have the way to set, because there's one thing, there is only one alarm system that is already set up here. And I don't know if the situation is, you have to pay a maintenance because you are actually linked to the fire department, and we don't know exactly, how this system works.
But did the guys only look to the fire extinguisher?
Only the fire extinguisher,
So
and
this is the
those are different things. Fire alarm is different from fire extinguisher, but it belongs to the same,
Yeah, but your service didn't cover what they were coming to do?
no,
Okay.
They
so
only-
probably they are complementary.
it's 2 different things.
it's too different.
Oh,
Because I thought from the email that when I received your email, I thought they were doing exactly the same.
No, this is only for extinguisher. Miami services is only for take care of the extinguisher, fire extinguisher.
Okay, so when the photograph, it was you, I believe.
No, I think that Robert compiled the information with the fire extinguishers and,
Yeah,
and-
for example, in WhatsApp, we received the photograph. with the 2022 revision over fire extinguisher. It has nothing to do with fire alarms.
Exactly, it doesn't have to do with
Okay,
that.
so I,
Oh, I thought what you were saying was we just paid for a company that
me too.
is doing what they said they are doing.
But I remember I sent an email right after saying this have nothing to do with the fire alarm, because I rectify when I see fire alarm, and say, okay. that has nothing to do with
Okay.
Fire extinguisher, or that, or
We
fire
understand that.
So then they do need to come.
They may, yeah, and they are, by the way, in budget, but. So we need to probably.
But do we need?
It's still strange practice, but then it's nothing to do with the photograph that was sent in
No,
WhatsApp.
no,
but with the-
fire extinguisher have nothing to do with
Okay.
fire alarm, but we need to understand how fire alarms, are related to all the system, and to justify how much money are they charges for this, service. And if we can, look for something else, or are we gonna be comfortable with this company that it was always, like charging us, without coming?
I don't know if they came or not, if they are, they have.
This year is that they, no, because do they have access to this area?
But Joel paid or we paid in January.
Probably for
For before, because
before.
they should come here and interface with somebody, or either from the management company or from us, to understand, what is the procedure.
Let me be very if we go for these 3 months, first of all, asking the contract, but if we go with them just to cover this quarter, because I think we need to do it. I don't know, but I think we need to do it. So we have so many things in hands. So why don't we take this quarter? We do it with these guys, and then next quarter we have more time and we evaluate what we
It's a contract, it definitely is gonna be for 1 year, it's gonna be for the 4 quarters or 3
So,
quarters.
and then we have, that's what I said, we need to ask for the contract. If we have the contract, we are stuck for 1 year with these people.
Okay, so.
Okay, so these people we asking for the contract, they are for the fire alarm.
And I thought it was extinguisher because I started to receive, okay,
No, and the fire alarm, as I know, is only this,
okay.
it's only this part.
And there's a box, the red
And the
box.
station, yeah, and
They
the
charge
speaker.
$300 to.
For only this, because in no building have fire alarm, that I understand,
Just this one.
just,
If you, so
I mean,
the
it's
first
too
thing
much
is what I'm
money
saying,
for one.
if we have a contract and it's for a year, we are stuck with them for a year and it is what it is.
And the fire department doesn't provide that service?
No. The fire department comes here and check and give us, it's like
So I
a,
propose that you reinforce.
Authority has
see the contract,
jurisdiction.
And after that, we take the decision on payment. If we have a contract, and the contract is 1 year, we're not gonna dispute these contracts for now, because we have.
my God, we need to understand, what we're paying for and what is the reason, and
I
at
understand.
least of history.
And that's
because
why
this-
they are already saying that are gonna do inspection.
This company from Hallelujah is.
No, I understand.
It's
Yeah,
completely.
and it's also,
Yeah,
we have a bigger fish to fry, Okay,
so what you gotta.
I'll respond to his email
You wanna see?
and please forward us contract before anything else happens.
yeah, done, we are new board.
Okay, maintenance updates.
There was a broken pipe of irrigation system at the main entrance. It was repaired and the cost was $15.63. I will pass you the invoice. And,
They are now getting used to the new process, which I believe we need to go to the platform to approve something, but it's most probably, we're gonna pass after they all the approvals, the check is handed. It's gonna have 2 signatures, etc.
an emergency check,
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
no, not to say, because I don't think the times that we usually have to pass the check are compatible with the times they said on the regional side. On sending the check versus signing that things.
Okay.
But we gotta test the model. So I don't know exactly what, just trying to say that let's take some patience and tolerance for the first piece, because we gotta test the model of how this works.
Okay, well, for $16.
Yes, I know.
A matter of life or death. Common dog area, between building 3 and 4 were painted. So you guys already have that part of the surface already nice and paint. The complaint for main entrance sewers gate has been filed to the Miami-Dade Water and Sewage Department and is already in process and pass it to all different departments. So we already have a situation where these crews are taking, like more than 4 months to repair something that apparently is deeper. So they broke the sewage pipe and they're working on it. But in the meantime, they destroy the fence, the wood fence, the original wood fence, and they put a chain link fence. So we don't want that. We want our fence a little bit nicer because it's our entrance, and that's the complaints that we'll refile. And the Department of Water and Sewage is gonna, like get back to us with the results. That's it. This is all from Venus.
Good stuff. Plumbing.
Okay. Estrella company came twice this past weekend to service emergency of the plumbing lines on building 2, which were clogged. Today, Estrella company came for more accurate diagnosis and performed the viewing of the plumbing line with the camera, which they encountered clusters of clogging along the pipe due to wipes and diapers.
It was for sure diapers.
Yeah, I had a picture. Well, I already,
Yeah.
I got the picture. I can probably share with you guys.
Yeah, but that is big. Okay,
Baby diapers.
but it could be a key. Doing.
But there are no kids in that section.
But
Alfredo
But you don't know if you have visitors. No, it's only that, that line collect from unit 20 down to unit 13. So that is running. So might be somebody who have visitor with babies or something. Or it used to be before, because it seems like it was like in the process of a disintegration. Okay, so. And that was 2 for wipes and diapers disposing to the toilet. Based on the current situation, the company proposed 2 solutions. One was replacement of 40 feet of the line, which will cost us around $4,000, and the water jet cleaning to flush the clogs for $860. And the decision was made on the spot. So the water jet cleaning was performed, and midterm solutions shall be considered to be in place to address the problems in its entirety. So definitely, this is a cast iron, plumbings, and those were never, to take in consideration. So eventually, we need to actually have a project to actually replace not only line building to all the lines, because we actually have a problem with my neighbor in Unit 41. Like few years ago with the same issue. So we need to replace, and this is, yes, but in the meantime, since the plumbing are basically narrow and they are scaly, so that's why anything that is actually porous is trapped. So we need to be careful and consider. In the meantime, at least we send out a note to the whole community to be a little bit more sensitive and more careful while we are going after, like those big, issues. And then we can start working about future project of changing all the lines. But
in terms of project, I would be breaking this, every time we have one thing, it's starting with the backlog for reward points, where we do everything we are doing on all, because we have now priorities and we need repairs, inspection, and we don't get all these again by the end of the year, we prioritize.
that's what I said, midterm solution. So we need to start contemplating that. Definitely. Okay.
Because we don't lose sight of.
Yes. Okay.
Next several.
Okay, so the technician told me that the situation always is going to be the same. So no matter what you notifies, you actually trying to be proactive. So people are going to be always, like dumped.
Replacing those lines, is that bringing up the parking lot?
Yes, not only that, you actually have some encroachment on the back patio. So that is going to be moving air conditioning equipment, moving tiles, moving a lot of things. So we need to interface within the unit owners and the common areas to understand exactly how that's gonna be. So this is gonna be a very costly project because we need to. It is. So that's why I said, that's what I said today if everybody can contribute, we can make a difference. You know, I know that the situation is critical, but I mean, if we conscious about that, in the meantime, for at least this year, should actually be more careful about what we're doing with our disposal. So it will be, you know, beneficial because we don't want to end up having another 4 assessment on our account because they say nobody can refrain from clogging that again. So if somebody can get another wipe, it definitely will clog because, you know, like the conditions are completely, you know, like deteriorating. But there's no blockage. That's the good things that there's no pipe broken, there's no root, you know, like coming into the pipe. So that it's a good thing. So
Good. Umbrellas?
no, we published the notification on the board to ask the attention, not only for the unit owners on building 2, but for all the community, which need to understand that our plumbing lines are old and they are prone to trap any biodegradable paper and need extra care for the unit owner side. Otherwise, we have to come up with another assessment for, you know, repairs. So for pool umbrellas and tennis court access.
I'm not kidding, but I watched the final video after it was pressure washed. That was fascinating.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. So tennis court. There is an access restriction for the tennis court for the reasons already discussed. And the proper procedure for granted access shall first fill up the condominium waiver and submit it to the board. I think this is, you know, very straightforward procedure. So people that are going to use the tennis court need to understand that they need to first care and then take all the safety precautions and measurements because there's a liability on the condominium and we don't want to, you know, like be part of that. So as long as they sign that waiver, we all release our legality. No, I mean, yours should be on records, Gregory should be on records, and there's few people that plays tennis that actually have been, but for the newcomers, for people that wants to use this part of the amenity needs to follow the procedure because God forbid.
I may need to sign a waiver. I don't know if
Okay.
I would have signed all waivers when I moved in, right?
Well, I mean, it would be a good time to review just in case to cover our, you know, bases because if God forbid something happen in that area, we're gonna be liable.
But
So
people don't even know, for example, today, I think, Amy asked me, she said, I mean, they changed the law. And she's like, I don't remember if I signed or not, you know, she lives here forever. She played there before, I don't know. So how can somebody check if, you know, people are like 7 years ago, 10 years ago, they don't remember if they signed the waiver or not?
I gotta.
Because now the law has changed the code and people want to play and, you know.
Gregory called me around 11:30 at night, asking for the code. I didn't appreciate that call, but I mean, I was able to help him and I say, Gregory, what I need to, you know, understand, and I was trying to reinforce the procedure. We need to make everybody understand and educate that everything have a process. It's not like, okay, open that gate for me, like everything have a process. So he told me that he has the code. And he showed me the code before. He actually tested me and say, I already signed the waiver. I already have the code. In fact, I give you the old code. And I say, in that case, I will grant you the new access. And I went ahead and give it to him.
So the person that has the old code is sufficient enough?
Well, we need to double check. And that's the only thing that I inquired the whole board to be conscious that because we need to have a backup.
Well, I think we be proactive about it. I mean, we need to send a communication, like let's say when we have the WhatsApp, whatever, this is the communication. Like everybody, hey, if you want to play tennis and you didn't ever sign this waiver, you need to sign this waiver so we can provide you the code.
Yeah.
And we need to be.
But
proactive.
tennis.
Otherwise, people call you, they never tell you nothing.
That's a nice.
Well, implementation. But I mean, on the rules and regulations for tennis court, pool and gym, they actually a procedure there, and that's what you need to be followed. So we can reinforce because reinforcement is really, yeah, it's really good to do it periodically. But I mean, that is written on those three papers that we already have and the board already approved for many, years ago. So this is what we need to do, reinforcement. Reinforcement.
Yes.
Exactly.
And the form that they need to sign.
So, yes. And the use of the manager, okay, we need to bear in mind that the maintenance only happens once a week and the pool furniture shall be kept within the same layout setting established after being used. The umbrellas are left out open without any consideration and any protection. I noticed that on last weekend, there was a unit owner that invite, I believe there were more than 8 people to have a party from the other condominium. So we don't have any restriction, but we need to understand that if you want to have invitees on your amenities, they need to have a certain code, a certain regulation that needs to be followed. Because I think that for courtesy of all the residents and unit owners, I think that it's a little bit not okay. So
But I think it's closing the umbrella, because people don't close the umbrella.
Yeah.
They, for the wind.
Yeah. So no, they damage one. There's one that is shows signs of, like violent. And yeah, that it completely broken, and they left it open and they move all the chairs. So we need to understand here in this community that maintenance doesn't pay everything. So we have one day our maintenance guy that comes and do the arrangement. I do it personally every time that I goes to that area and I arrange the chairs. But I think it needs to come to every single unit owner and resident that the way that we displace the setting of the chairs needs to be set same time, because the person that come after needs to have the same treatment and same enjoyment. And it's not fair that after everybody is going using, so you have papers, you have trash, you have bottle, which is something written on the statutes of the pool and regulation not allowed. So we see a lot of things that we are not controlling, and the cameras are, like not follow. So we need to, unfortunately, start implementing a police setting, because if people, you are telling it nicely once, twice, and this is still keeping, like going, much further and harder. So we need to make sure that this is not going to, at least this is control on our amenities areas, because it's not fair for any resident, and it's also a little bit abusive that we are paying maintenance for somebody else to enjoy. I'm not against that you can bring your guests, but I mean, 8 people at the same time taking over on the pool area, I think it's not admissible, and not being careful.
Why would we put in back up or not for now, that we have a system of fines, because I heard that we can have a community for fines, etc. And sometimes we need to enforce some of these things with fines, which means, okay, we really detect there is bottles floating in the pool, trash all over, then we associate these with the fine.
Yeah.
We check the cameras, and then we do the fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but
And
again,
it's established what is the community that we need, because I think there's a community that needs it.
Yeah.
Everything we establish.
Yeah.
Even if it's $100, we don't have to.
it's a product for the summer, maybe after.
Yes.
Yeah, so we certainly are not a police, but should understand our circumstances and be more conscious about being collaborative neighbors rather than disruptive. And I think that that's the message, because if you actually being nice and being polite and trying to make everybody, like happy in the same environment, we need to be more conscious about, our use and make common sense. I think this is most likely common sense.
Yeah. Agreed. Good stuff. Flock.
Okay. Electrical permits are on, is underway. The electrical contractor is processing the electrical, parallel to the permit, with the city of Miami Beach. And they will let me know next week, because it's taking a little while, to pull it out. In the meantime, Kylie and Haidisha from the company, they are working on getting the permit also. the resume of this freaking perfect, like going. They told me that they are in process and they are gonna give me the okay when they have already the permit in the enhanced. But in the meantime, the electrical contractor told me, I don't need them. I will actually open mine and I will do the connection, with independently. So I say, fine. So do it and for the camera, yes.
But it's going to be from the.
Yeah.
all the way- all
It
the-
has to be dedicated as per city regulation, but it's gonna be all taken care. Hopefully. But and one important thing that we need to say is that so you read on the last email from Adesha is that we are not going to have any charges on the until it's fully operational. Yes. That's it.
Excellent.
Unit number 10, I forgot that you asked me to put the enclosures on the balcony. And I was thinking about it and I'm just going to propose a solution that I was actually before. And I contact one of the guys that I know and I can relate a lot. He's very his specialty is metal and everything that have to do with welding. And he actually proposed me a solution, which is they're going to remove a chunk of the picket on the bottom. He's gonna, like ensure that he's going to, fastening, with the, the permissible of the code. And they're going to do two pins holes on the side of the railing in order to, like to reinforce and to make it stable. So for that, he passed me the invoice. I probably will share it to you. His work with all the installation is going to cost $500. So if you guys agree, so I can call him, like later on this week, this unit, just to fix the support of the picket. So he's gonna cut it. And he was explaining the whole situation. So he's gonna cut it, he's gonna weld it. On site, he doesn't need to remove the thing, and he's gonna basically, use some structural screw on the side of each, like end and reinforce it. That's it.
From my perspective, I think that's the best solution. It resolves it, it puts it back to before truly the rainy season comes and,
Just for the safety reason, I think, like what she's demanding, it's a new railing, but for now we can secure and I don't.
Is it licensed?
Yeah, it's a license. Yeah, he has everything. So.
Okay. I'd say that's good.
So he needs to bring the machine, the welding machine, and I have to coordinate with him. So I say, well, if you can help me out, he's more expensive, but he can do.
We're talking about unit 10, and we got also a complaint from the neighbor.
her door.
About the door. This is like honestly a problem between neighbors.
Yeah.
But I heard that noise from here.
No, I heard the noise from my house. I don't know if you hear, I said.
The
door is dragging.
Everything, the door is touching the ground, spreading it. So imagine you live next door and every time.
It's like trailer, like trailer.
But I mean, I can get from here. It's very, very loud. So, I mean, so there's a point where it's neighbors need to resolve it, but there's a point where it's really, a lot of noise.
It's, yeah, it's.
So, the same way they're demanding us to do this and that. I mean, I don't know legally, I mean, if we can or should, but.
Well, my understanding, Alan, is from what I heard, is that the unit owners are looking for estimates because they're not only going to replace the door entrance, they're also going to replace other part of the windows and the house. So I think that they are in the process of getting estimates. So soon they are going to resolve that problem. But if you want to make it to their attention, so I probably will talk to them, when we have the opportunity, if we proceed with the repair. So I will probably say something to them unless you actually want to pass a letter. No, the termites already eat the whole frame, so the frame is. Yeah, you touch it and your finger goes through, yeah.
It's a screen wood door. Water usage.
Yeah, I have to get it.
Brian, what do you say?
Where
There just keeps coming reports, excessive water usage, but it's.
Yeah, today he asked me to check on unit 20, because 2020 is Ronald. Brian, send me an email because Carlos come here once a week. And for some reason, some communication issues, he cannot, get the full report from Carlos. So he asked me to check with him and to confirm on the water usage. Carlos came here this afternoon, by the way, and he checked and he gave the information to Brian. Hope he has it.
By the way, before we get to newsletter, we received a letter, kind of two things that are strange about it. First of all, with that email that we were about to block $10,000 to dollars. And then the justification they gave us was, because this was about 7.5, we already lost several checks and they copied Vishnu and all the people, etc. That was really strange. The other thing is this letter that I just opened. They say two things that is very interesting. First of all, we need to sign it as president, which is the stop notice, the stop that you put in ACG engineering's check. They say two things. First, which is strange because we already put a stop in the check before and they didn't ask us to sign anything. And then they say this is valid for 1 year. I never heard this, so it means that
The stop is permanent,
yes, and then
should be.
yes, and then at the end of the day, they say after 1 year period, we need to renovate. So we'll be renovating this check until ACG exists until to get. So this is very strange.
That's from Valley?
This is from Valley, and this is for you to sign, but it's quite strange. When you put a stop, this check is valid, etc. If we have to renew for the rest of our lives and our descendants, this stop on this check until ACG suddenly gets
Yeah, that's weird.
it's so. And
But-
more ridiculous, the family sends an email to our bookkeeper, etc. That says that must be stop a check from us because, well, no, it's for you. Oh, you saw it. So we send it and we assume that we have 1 year.
We can ask a question.
Yeah, okay. I'm not a digital, I send it and this is.
Let's ask the question.
Okay, that's-
And also the question should also be, for how long, let's say that somebody found the check. For how long that check is valid, if it's not deposited.
Check with, and by the way, there's check with this date usually.
Yeah, because then maybe there's an expiration, and these are things that are also federally imposed to the banks. The banks are supervised by, is it the FCC or something like that? So I think there are certain laws for that. Okay. All right. We're good?
We're good.
Maybe it's 2 hours. Yeah.
It is 8:05. I call the meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming. Let me end the recording.
He's saying,